You're tuned in to Pucknology After Dark. Oh my. And oh my, what a game. Sharks lose 4-1. First game of the series where it was pretty clear one team was better than the other. The Predators showed up tonight and they came to play. If you want to engage with us, you can use the hashtag Pucknology After Dark. Tweet at us. You can find us on Twitter at Pucknology, at iReadPucknology, at ChrisJWS, at AJ Strong. And we also have a special guest tonight at 3D Link. He is from the blog On the Forecheck for the Predators. So you can also engage in the Google chat. It'll be a little harder for us to track that because those comments tend to go by quickly. So if you have any questions for us or the guest, just tweet straight at us. And I am Chris JWS, as I already said. Go around the panel here, introduce everybody. Ian Reed, good to see you, and I see you brought someone with you.
Oh yeah, I got a little chatterbox here. Disappointing game, but it's one game, and there's a lot of panic I see already, and I think people need to hold off on that. I think if we go back to seeing San Jose tied, then yeah, maybe hit the panic button a touch. But for now, it's time to just take it for what it is. It's one game, one bad game, one game.
Twitter overreact? You don't say. Really now. And we have Mr. AJ_Strong on Twitter.
Yeah, bro. I thought Twitter was going to explode there. The last 10 minutes of that game. Ooh, boys, sky's falling. Sky's falling.
Yeah, I know. They won a game. Panic time, man. And our special guest tonight from Predators blog On the Forecheck, Mr. I guess I'll call you Mr. 3D Link. You can follow him on Twitter, tweet at him, be nice. Don't say anything mean to him on Twitter, guys. How's it going?
It's pretty good. I was getting ready to come into this being crushed emotionally, and I'm not crushed emotionally. I'm feeling a little bit positive, actually. People want to send me mean things. That's fine. I'm happy to accommodate the mean things because I'm going to be nicer than other people that they might tweet on the Predators side. So I'd rather be nicer and be the kinder one.
Oh yeah, no, our listeners are pretty well behaved, but I'm just saying that preemptively because some people slushy might tweet a few mean things, but yeah, good to have you here. Always appreciate to have perspectives of other fans because we all as we say around here, we have our teal tinted glasses. We all we can actually be a little harder on the Sharks than even opposing fans. I was listening to your guys' podcast. You guys can check out the links in the description, as I mentioned, on theforecheck.com, and then they have the Predscast link co-hosts there. You guys were actually really nice to the Sharks. I was listening to it this morning. And yeah, I really like what you guys do, so it's good to have you on here.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited to be here, and really, I am not I wouldn't even say I'm a closet Sharks fan. I like the Sharks. I like the players in the Sharks. I like how they play hockey. I like what they do most nights. It's always rough when they match up against each other, the Predators and the Sharks. But there's Preds fans historically who just despise the Sharks. Years ago, knocked out in the playoffs. And that doesn't bother me so much. I think they're a fun team, especially after playing the Ducks in round one, who are human garbage piles. Playing a team like the Sharks, it's like, oh, there are decent human beings in this league.
Yeah,
so it's a palate cleanser. Win lose, at least you're not losing to trash.
Yeah, and definitely agreed there. We do love you guys for eliminating the Ducks. There is no love lost between the Sharks and Ducks. After the Kings, probably the most hated team in Sharks territory right now.
Mm-hmm.
Has been for a long time. So we definitely appreciate you guys picking them off.
Glad to do it.
A lot of us didn't mind having a shot at them maybe, but yeah, so there's a lot less animosity between Sharks and Preds. So yeah, great to have you. So let's just go around the horn. I'll let you start, Link. What did you think of the game? What are your initial impressions there?
My big concern coming into this game was that the Predators were going to try to reinvent themselves, do something flashy, new, different. Because Game 1 and Game 2, they didn't play that badly. And we were really happy, just kind of from a covering the team perspective. We were pretty happy with the effort they put in. Not scoring enough goals, but that's always a Predators issue. Anyone who's ever followed them knows that. And then coming into the game tonight, there were some lineup changes that were really appropriate lineup changes. Getting Ribeiro out of there, he's been a disaster for 9 games straight in the playoffs. He's been just absolutely poor. Getting him out was fantastic. Giving Panos Oberg a chance, give him a shot to do something. He was really energetic, doing a lot of great things out there. Had a couple close chances, but it was just the team playing the way they knew how to play and coming out and doing the exact same thing they've done in the playoffs, and had a few discipline issues, but worked through it, and obviously we're finally getting results. Scored on the power play. They were I think 2 for 31, 30-something through
Yeah, it was
the
like
first part.
4.6%, I think.
Yeah,
I think you're being generous, Ian.
It was 4.6%.
Yeah, through the first 9 games, I think they had two power play goals on 30-plus chances, and they were 2 for 5 tonight, roughly. So I mean, that's just all the difference in the world right there.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
was Ribeiro a healthy scratch then?
Oh, definitely a healthy scratch. Yeah.
Okay.
And with that, AJ, we'll go to you now. What were your impressions? We know before you even say it, special teams. That's your drum. Go for it.
Love to beat on the special teams drum. And what were the Sharks tonight? 0 for 4. Ooh.
Yep.
Now-
0 for 4, and
now-
they were 3 for 5.
Yeah, so 3 for 5 on the PK. So you let in 2, you don't score any when you've got the special team advantage. That's going to kill you every time. We also saw, little asterisk on there. One of the first, I believe it was the first power play. They didn't have Burns out there because he was one of the guys in the box. One of the power plays was split between the first and second period. So those can change things. And then of course we looked good. I thought we looked pretty good on the first 2 minutes of the power play. It was that second 2 minutes of the 4-minute minor where we started to have problems. and to be honest with you, I wasn't a big fan of that call. I hate to be one of those guys that'll like rail on the officials. There was tons of stuff that I think got let go tonight. I think they swallowed the whistles a lot tonight for the most part. But I did kind of have a little bit of a problem with Neil lifting the stick of Donskoy into his own face, and Donskoy gets the call. That I kind of had a problem with that. It was, I know you can't see that in real time, but when you see it in the replay, you kind of go, oh boy, you could go either way with that, especially with the way they were swallowing the whistles. But for me, a couple things. Marlowe looked great tonight. I mean, I suppose that'll happen when you've taken the previous, 8 games off. But, I thought Marlowe had a really good game tonight. He was fantastic in the circle. Unfortunately, that can't be said about any other Shark tonight. I don't know what the final numbers were, Ian. I don't know, like 13 or 14 out of 40 face-off. I mean, it was bad. It was pretty bad tonight in the face-off circle. And the other thing that really stood out for me, the Sharks were giving away the puck tonight. Like they were having a flea market sale. It just felt. Did you see Thornton just? That giveaway Thornton had was just like. Did he even look at where the puck was going to go? There was a lot of giveaways, and it was the little things tonight, and they looked a step slower. They looked a little jet lagged tonight, and credit to Nashville, Pekka Rinne, holy crap, dude. He got downright owned by Marlowe. Marlowe owned every Predator on the ice during that goal. That was unbelievable. You saw Rinne in the fetal position, and credit to him, dude. After that happened, he shook it off and stood up and just denied everything after that. So you got to give it up for that.
Yep.
Kudos
He
to
went
them for that.
Pekka Rinne after that.
Yes, he did.
We've called him Sharks killer. Like we have absolute respect for him. Ian Reed, good evening, sir. What were your impressions?
Yeah, I'm going to try and approach this from a different thing because AJ covered it really well. I thought that the Sharks, like last game, I thought Nashville had the puck last game a lot too, but I felt like the Sharks did a good job of holding them off to the perimeter, not really allowing them into the high danger areas. I know that Nashville had a ton of shots last game, but I felt like a lot of them were low percentage shots. Tonight, Nashville just had their way with the Sharks. I thought the Sharks did a good job of weathering the storm for a period. I thought, we knew Nashville was going to come out to play today. they don't want to go down 3-0 in the series, and they came out to play. And I thought that the Sharks did really well to weather the storm in the first period, but at second and third period, it just felt to me like they stopped skating.
Which is a shock when you consider how well they've done as games have gone on. Like, they've gotten better as games have gone on, and they've absolutely owned third period for most of the playoffs.
Yeah.
And
this game was just a stinger.
Well,
Yeah, the one thing you really did see, because you're talking about the scoring chances. I mean, the first game of the series was just bizarro world. I mean, it was a clearly exhausted team. My chair just broke. It was a clearly exhausted team. Nashville coming into San Jose, and I mean the shots they were giving up, the Predators were giving up, were insane. Yeah. And then game 2, they really locked it down. The scoring chances were really, really even. And then tonight, the Predators were finally more on their game. And I think there's a bit of the fatigue factor, Ian, that you were talking about. Because it means the Sharks, they're going to find high danger scoring chances. And I think it was something like 8-2 for high danger, which is really the exact game Nashville wants to be playing, what they've been doing all season. So if they find a way to keep doing that going forward, then things may balance out a little bit and make up for that for game 1 that was a nightmare for the Predators.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say, like, scoring chances tonight were a lot more tilted in Nashville's favor. Like, first game, Sharks owned that one. Second game is a lot more even. In this game, Nashville definitely owned it. And, like, last game, like Ian said, like, I think the Predators could have well won that one. Like, that was a really close game, and I thought the Predators maybe were a hair better. But the Sharks pulled that one out, and this could easily be 2-1 either direction, in my opinion. So it's been a good series so far. I know a lot of people have said a little dull in some parts, but I mean, 3 games in, what do you guys all think? We'll start with AJ.
No, I didn't think it was dull at all tonight. I thought. What was the game we were talking? Oh, it was game 2. Was a bit of a snooze fest, but no, tonight I was engaged early on. Like I said, I felt like I think it was Ian that said it was just like and we've heard this before. Get through the first 10 minutes, kind of weather that storm. You know the building's going to be rocking. You know the fans are going to be very boisterous. So just kind of weather that storm, get your legs under you, and engage. And I felt the Sharks looked pretty good in that first period, and then instead it was like Link was saying, kind of bizarro world from what we've seen for the Sharks playoffs so far, is that rather than getting better as the game progressed, they actually got worse. And then I mentioned it on Twitter that so far this series is kind of mirroring the LA series. Now, granted, after 3 games, both series up 2-1, but it was also what led to the Sharks losing Game 3 versus LA. It was a parade to the box. What happened tonight? The Sharks had a parade to the box. So I think hopefully they'll learn from that, and hopefully we see the same outcome that we had against LA, against Nashville, and they take the next 2 games and get it together. I think that would be excellent. Of course. Puck Guy pointing out tonight, San Jose 42% in the face-off circle. I'm surprised it was that high, to be honest with you. It felt like they were. Now, granted, I will say they did get some key face-offs, and we saw that sequence towards the end there where it was just like they won face-off after face-off after face-off in their offensive zone. Granted, it seemed like 5 seconds after they won it, it was a deflected shot out of bounds, and they had to take it again. But at least they kept winning, which was nice. And they needed the practice, let's be honest. But Marleau and Thornton, the only guys over 50% in the circle tonight. So I think
good to see Marleau revive, though, because he has been MIA.
That's huge. So obviously things to work on tomorrow. And once again, hopefully they got all the penalties out of their system.
Yep. And after last time, like you said, with the Kings game in Game 3, they went. I think it was 0 for 5 on the power play. Went 0 for 4 tonight. The very next game, they scored, I think, 2 or 3 power play goals. So that's something they can turn around really quick, because this power play, we know it's very dangerous. So, Link, what are your impressions 3 games in for the series?
I'm actually surprised to a degree at how well the Predators are holding up. I'm always a little concerned about the mental state of the Predators, because they seem to lose their minds sometimes. They got sucked into the Ducks game. The Ducks, obviously, in that first series would come in. They had very trashy first games. I keep using that word to describe them because it's so appropriate. Then they tightened up and got themselves disciplined. The Predators started doing that, and they started kind of succumbing to the narrative, kind of that internal player narrative of the series. And I worry about that happening with the Predators against the Sharks because I think the Sharks are at least they look like, to me, a fairly disciplined team. I don't associate them with taking a lot of aggravated penalties. And so the Predators, they've got a few guys. James Neal, he'll take a few aggravated penalties. Shea Weber has been known to randomly bounce people's faces off of off the glass. I mean...
Well, we saw Neal go after Pavelski a little bit tonight, too.
Yeah, you see those things happen, and Neal is, 75% reformed from his days in Pittsburgh and his earlier career. He's not quite the stick swinger that he used to be, but he still has it in him. You can still see it at the edges. So those things they worry me a little bit going into Game 4. You look at what happened with Smith at the end of the game tonight, where some of the Sharks were giving him a hard time when he was in the zone, and I just wonder, at what point did they start trying to throw a guy like Cody Bass back in? Now, he was hurt, so he may not be ready, but when they start throwing like a pugilist type guy in, and then you get into problems, and that worries me. And the other thing that's concerning is they're putting Paul Gaustad in the power play. You only see Paul Gaustad a few times a year, but he's just a suck on the team. He's not Eric Nystrom bad, because Eric Nystrom is probably the worst player the Predators have on their roster right now. But Paul Gaustad just brings very little, and they're putting him out in the power play to stand in front of the net. Well, that's great. He's a wall, but that's all he is. He's going to be stuck in the zone. He can get pushed around a little bit. So that worries me. And then also, I think Marleau showed an area where the Predators are at risk tonight, in that sometimes if you can hit the Predators with speed and force the defense to have to turn around. Weber is great at that first breakup play, but the second you try to get him to turn around and chase, he's not that quick, and he's out of position. He's lost his biggest and his best assets, and you can just exploit that. And then Pekka can be overly aggressive, and you get plays like that. I see things like that through the course of the Predators season, even the past couple, you look back a couple seasons. So things like that worry me going forward. But the consistency in the game plan in Game 2 and then tonight in Game 3, that I find really encouraging. I think if they keep that up, they'll be okay. But discipline, because that Sharks power play is really scary. Even assuming you have a defenseman from Nashville that goes in the box, you lose Yossi or Weber or Ekholm. All of a sudden, you're left with Jackman, who's fine, and then you've got Potato, who is not fine. And it is Potato, not Bieto, as they keep saying on TV, for 3 games straight.
It's all right. My wife keeps on calling him Potato every time they say his name.
Oh, that's actually great. Potato is perfectly acceptable. Tony Potato we have called him that for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned about getting sucked in the Ducks game. That's been a mantra here on this show all season long. When it comes to the Kings and the Ducks, the Sharks, when they play their own game, they're great. When they start trying to be something they aren't, be that on the edge team, they're not. That's not their identity. They're the the heavy forechecking, wait you out, kind of bide their time, play patiently kind of team. And when they against the Kings and the Ducks, whenever they get into that, get baited into those stupid penalties, or start to try and say, "Oh, we're not winning in the hit stat, we need to hit them some more." That's when they lose those games. And it's interesting. Yeah, same similar identities. I think Nashville and San Jose, different players.
There's this great thing, and it's entirely, this is a very unique matchup for the West, and I think we're really lucky to have a Predators-Sharks series at all, because you look at all the teams who made the playoffs, and Dallas is obviously just a run-and-gun team, and St. Louis is going to grind you into the dirt. You have Southern California being the nightmare that Southern California hockey teams are, and then you had sort of the combination of Chicago and San Jose and Nashville, who are more, they're just there to play really fun hockey and just play hockey and not have all the mind games and all of the guys out there trying to draw penalties by being pests and things like that. So I think we're really lucky that we get to see these two teams play and not have to have one team trying to smear the other one against the boards for the sake of doing that. That's something that makes me hope that this is going to be a long series and not just a 5-game or 6-game. I'd love to see it go all the way to 7, although that probably kills either team's chance. Well, it would kill the Predators' chances, I think, in the third round by going 7 games. The Sharks, being maybe a little bit less fatigued, they might be fine in a better position. But I hope for a long series personally.
Yeah, I mean, we always talk about, the impartial observer versus us as fans. Like, the impartial observer in me would love to see more of the series. The fan in me, I wish we'd won tonight. I wish we'd win a couple nights from now. Be done and over with. So let's get Ian. I don't think we've touched with you. What are your impressions of the series so far?
I'm okay with the series so far. I mean, obviously the Sharks need to really tighten up the dot again. I thought they did a good job in Game 1. I didn't realize the numbers were as bad as they were in Game 2 because I didn't watch the game at home. So yeah, I mean, obviously the face-off dot kind of scares me. It's funny because you mentioned Paul Gaustad, and Paul Gaustad kind of reminds me of Jason Allison back in the day. You can throw him out there, he's going to win the draw, and then you just get him the heck off the ice, and you're golden. It's when you try making him do all the other things that I think that is advantage Sharks. But it's nice to have that guy who can just go out there and just win a draw, and you can trust him, and you can let guys get rest, because I think that between the two teams, I think that the Sharks are the deeper team. That certainly didn't show tonight, but I think that if you can get a guy out there like Gaustad who can go up against the Thornton and still win a draw, I think that's a definite feather in your cap. But get him to do all the other stuff. My main concern is obviously special teams, because we've seen this kind of all year where the Sharks special teams, like when they're on, but then when they're off, holy hell, are they off? And that worries me, the power play going completely dry tonight, and Nashville's power play waking up. That was something I was kind of concerned with going into the series, because I mean, let's be honest, it couldn't stay as low as it was forever. It just wasn't going to happen. So now that it's woken up, it's going to be an interesting game. I'm really excited to see what the next game has, because I've kind of already just kind of penciled in Game 5 as a loss because of the way the Sharks go back home after being away. So I'm kind of hoping, I'm really if the Nashville wins the next game, then I will legitimately be really worried. But for now, I'm okay with it. It was a bad game, but I hope I can shrug it off as easy as the team should.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, Nashville's really looking to rewrite history a little bit, because I mean, what's the Predators' history with the Sharks? It's getting knocked out of the playoffs by the Sharks.
Yeah.
I was going to say, weren't 2 of those playoffs back? They were consecutive seasons, right?
Yeah, consecutive years, yeah.
Yeah.
So, just
06 and then 07, right?
Yeah. So I just wanted to jump on this real fast, coming from the comments out of the coaches' room. Peter DeBoer, and this just touches on what I had mentioned earlier about Neil lifting the stick, as DeBoer talking about it. Obviously, there's a big momentum shift there. I'd still like an explanation on how it's a double minor. I guess because because Neil was bleeding, or was he not? I don't know.
I assume he must have been.
Yeah.
The officials obviously saw something. I still want to, like I said, I'd still like the officials to review that one more time and just take a look and see if, was it a fact that Neil actually lifted the stick? Because I've seen that play so many times, and the officials do fall for it more often than not, but you'll find every once in a while somebody will get caught pulling that off.
But I mean, everyone knows our perspective on that particular penalty. Link, I don't know. Someone with a little less teal-tinted glasses maybe hear your perspective.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those penalties you look at and makes you scratch your head. And I mean, but at the end of the day, that's the playoffs for you. There are so many weird, missed, ignored calls throughout series. If you pick as fans, or even as members of media, you can just go and say, well, this is the one that changed. Because we've done that on the Nashville side as well. There's been instances. I'm not going to try to recall when. My memory for things in the past is not great. But everyone has those moments, and so when I see something like that happen, I say, that sucks. I wish they didn't make that call. I'd rather have it be a fair fight, so to speak. But it is what it is, and both teams play through it, and the Predators happen to get the advantage. Next time, maybe it's the Sharks' advantage, and that's just the way it is.
Yep, yeah, exactly. And I mean, really, if the Sharks special teams had been on, I don't think it would have ultimately mattered. Like, they had an off night on special teams, and as Ian mentioned, it can feel a little feast and famine at times, but generally they're very consistent. Like, I mean, this is only the second game this is like game 9, yeah, no, eight for the Sharks. It's only really the second game where they didn't get a lot done on special teams. For the most part, their special teams are there, 70-80% of the time, and being a big advantage. So that's why I say I'm not worried. Like, I think next game I fully expect them to score a power play goal or two. That seems to be how they roll. So we
Let's
talked
talk-
about.
Let's talk about our crazy stat of the night provided by Puck Guy.
Oh.
It says the Preds are 0-3 in series where they start 0-2, but in all of those series they're undefeated in Game 3.
Oh man, I love overly specific stats. That's fantastic.
I know.
Can we get that stat under a full moon as well?
Yeah, I love those. I hope Puck Guy was wearing his tinfoil hat when he typed that in. That was pretty cool.
That's a classic one. I like that a lot.
I did retweet that. I remember retweeting that, and I said when I retweeted, I'm like, I don't put any stock in these stats, but if you're looking for something, here it is.
if you want a little trivia snippet, yeah, earlier this season I compiled stats for Sharks scoring under the full moon when we had a game under the full moon just for shits and giggles. It turns out Joe Pavelski's really good under the full moon. Who knew?
You think it'd be Burns?
Yeah, I know. You would think of all. I think Burns only had one or two.
I think Burns thinks it's always a full moon.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
Burns, it's always a full moon. Yeah, awesome. So I mean, we talked about like the outlook on the rest of the series. Don't want to beat that to death too much because I mean, at this point, I think it's really anyone's game because 2-1. I mean, most series start that way. Going forward, I mean, I think most of us know what the Sharks need to do. I mean, special teams is a big thing. From your perspective, Link, what do you want to see from the Predators?
Yeah, I mean, it's the first thing is discipline. The Sharks are going to destroy the PK if they give them opportunities. I mean, the Predators have a good PK, but the Sharks are really, really scary in that aspect. So, I mean, it's definitely going to be in the discipline. And then it's continuing their game plan. It's doing what got them into the playoffs, which is limiting those high danger scoring chances so effectively. And then the last thing is Predators fans in the regular season, and we saw it again in the playoffs, have seen two sides of Pekka Rinne. We saw this complete disaster of Rinne for the first probably half and a little bit of the season, where he was the worst goaltender in the league probably. And then he turned it around and he was himself again. And then to start the playoffs in the Duck series, he was a mess and has pulled himself together. So him staying strong mentally, because I really think it's a big mental thing for him in decision making, he needs to hold that together. We saw him slip on that Marleau goal tonight, but we saw him pull himself together. So that's going to be really key. Is when those high danger chances are there, because they're going to be there, Pekka has to step up and stop them like everyone knows he can, and he's demonstrated he can do.
Nice. Yeah, so Ian, I guess we'll go to you next. For the Sharks, aside from face-offs and power play, what do you think? What are some key points for the Sharks going forward?
I'm going to say the same thing that Link just said. They got to get back to playing their game. They've got to get back on the forecheck. There was no forecheck tonight after the. I didn't feel there was really much of a forecheck tonight after the first period. And the Sharks are best when they're pushing play and when they're skating. And I thought that. Going forward, if there's a couple plays like that, I want to say it was maybe the second or third goal, like Burns kind of just had like a lazy little poke check, and then after that he didn't move his feet, and they went out front and scored. And I thought that, normally, Burns is all over him. He's moving his feet, he's skating. He's not just trying to throw a poke check out. He's trying to take the body. And if they got to get back to that, they got to get back to being a solid forechecking team.
Yeah, it's definitely seemed like the discipline and the forecheck wasn't there tonight. What do you think, AJ?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with Ian. Seeing it a couple times where dudes just got pyloned straight up, and going back to it's all winning all those little facets. Obviously, special teams, that's for me, but being strong in the circle tonight, 43%. That's not going to get it done. You
Got
know,
it done against LA.
yeah, I know, barely. And hey, this is
Down the middle of LA was a lot
And hey,
stronger, though, which
the
is why
Preds
it worries
got
me.
pushed around the face of against the Ducks too. So
and our other great stat for the night, or our other great crazy fun fact of the night. This is the first road loss for the Sharks since March 17th versus Arizona. So,
Damn.
yeah, right. So, I don't know how that's going to work out. So, you know, I feel like hopefully this parallels the LA series where they learned from their silly mistakes. They got away from their game like they did in the LA series. They took that parade to the box. I just want to see everybody turn around. It just blows me away that, like, on the night that, like, Marlowe just kind of has the night that we've all been waiting for, the rest of the team just kind of goes, well, you know, I'm going to walk through it tonight. I mean, tonight, not Jumbo's best game. Not Donskoy's best game. You know, Donskoy did not look good. You know who I thought actually had a very good game tonight was Matt Nieto.
Yes.
He seemed to be wheeling a lot tonight and trying to make something happen. I thought Hurdle had his spots, not his best game, but yeah, it felt like it was the lower line guys. It was kind of like Nieto and Spalling were the guys that seemed to have the bigger impact. And if those are your impact players, that's a recipe for disaster.
I should point out, former Nashville Predator and top 6 forward according to Barry Trotz, Nick Spalling. Trotz famously referred to Nick Spalling as having the talent of a top 6 forward. Though I have to ask, I don't know if it was a factor, but did our mascot crawling on the ice before the game
Damn it!
change the luck?
You know what?
I thought it was the petting beforehand, the petting of the cat beforehand.
I don't know about you guys. I found that whole sequence to be incredibly creepy.
Yeah.
A little bit, but I think it worked, so I think you got to roll with it.
I guess so.
I love that mascot. That mascot's awesome.
Yeah, I had to pull him out of the garage. He was hanging out in my garage.
I'm glad. He's awesome.
I don't know. He's a good mascot, but he also makes me want to, like, order a bowl of cereal. I got to be honest with you.
There's a little Tony the Tiger going on there.
A little bit. Like, I'm expecting that sign that he's holding to be like a cereal box.
Well, you gotta, can't scare away the kids, AJ.
I didn't write it on the sign. I feel bad. I should have written something, but I think I did. But I showed it backwards, and I didn't want to try to do it in reverse.
Fair enough. Yeah, that would be pretty hard, actually. Yeah.
I could use a mirror. I mean, I could figure it out.
The Sharks didn't have the black cat factor going for them tonight because we always say like if there was anything that could bring the Sharks good luck, it would be a friggin' black cat.
Right.
Hey, rats work for the Panthers.
Yeah, exactly. We were just saying like a while back, like they need to be throwing like little stuffed cats on the ice after a winter or something. But like, and we were also saying before the show, we were talking like, we're very kindred spirits here, Sharks and Predators. We both know playoff heartbreak like nobody's business. Like, I mean, it's it's a joke I've made once or twice, but I say like when even a Sharks fan feels sorry for you, your team doesn't have the best playoff history, and we did have the 3-0 collapse, so guys don't have that.
Hey, well, just anytime you run into a Predators fan, just mention the phrase, just say the phrase "Game 5," and they will know exactly what you talk. Like you don't even need to specify what series, just Game 5, and they will cry.
So I don't know this one off the top of my head. Fill us in on this because we don't know.
Game 5, I think I can't even remember the year. It was 2011 playoffs. It was against the Blackhawks. Been the Canucks. It was the Predators Blackhawks. And I probably screw up the year. I do that all the time. Predators are going to take the game. I mean, they're going to win in Chicago. They're going to come back home, have a great chance to secure the series. It's going to be this big moral victory. Clock is running down, and then Martin Erat.
Oh, I remember that sucker.
Down below the net, behind. I think it was Niemi at the time. Dishes the puck to center ice, where there's no one, and the next thing you know, Patrick Kane's scoring a goal. The Predators lose the game, lose the series. It's over. It's just the most deflating moment in Predators history, in my opinion. So we just it's just Game 5, and everyone sort of shakes their head. it's like approaching Minnesota Vikings fandom level of angst about a moment.
Well, hold on. While we have him on here, we have had a couple of questions come on through the Google chat. First off, one of the questions being, I want to know what the chants in Nashville are. I know they do the power play yell as it's announced, but I can't. But there are others, and I can't figure them out. And there were a couple tonight that I couldn't understand what the hell they were chanting either.
Oh man. It all depends on where they are. I mean, it's all, of course, it's almost all driven by Cell Block 303 up in the top. That's kind of the big loud guys who invented all the cheers.
That's right. We have ours. It's 209 in our building.
Yeah. I mean, there's the goalie chant, which is pretty basic. Just, it would be Jones. It's all your fault. You suck. It's all your fault. It's all that thing is pretty basic.
I've never heard this. This is great.
Oh yeah, it's like they'll go, he shoots, he scores, you suck, and they'll go, say Jones 3 times, and then they'll go 3 times, and they'll say you suck, it's all your fault, it's all your fault. That's probably a really popular one. I mean, that's really the only complicated one. I mean, everyone of course sings with the song. The Tim McGraw country song's been around for
20 years.
Far too long.
I notice you guys are also challenged when it comes to syllables. We have the Let's Go Sharks, and you guys have the Let's Go Predators.
I don't know. That paces out pretty nicely.
Little off. You want 2 syllables there, not 3 or 1.
Yeah, and then I mean, I'm trying to think. At the last minute of each period, everyone shouts "Thanks, Paul" to Paul McCann.
For Paul
McCann, who's the arena announcer. I'm trying to think of anything else. I save all of my singing and cheering for soccer, so I'm not a huge I tend to sit at a hockey game and I just kind of cross my arms and glare at things.
Oh, you're that guy.
I'm known for being. I have a reputation for being overly stoic. So I'm not the best person for cheers, but yeah.
Ian has competition.
The goalie.
Call him the Canadian robot for a reason.
Yeah,
it's true.
That's kind of redundant. Canadians are very repressed people.
True that. The other question that came in, it said they wanted to ask you about the atmosphere in Nashville during the playoffs. Obviously the fans that are in the arena, everybody that shows up and is waving the towels, clearly all fans, all into it, but what is downtown Nashville like? Does it kind of transform the way that San Jose does?
Well, so for anyone who hasn't been to a game in Nashville, the Bridgestone Arena is on Broadway, and so you walk out the front gates, and you are seeing the honky tonks, the neon lights. That when people feature Nashville and they show all the bright, that's what you walk out directly into. And so when the team's playing, on a weeknight, there's hockey fans everywhere. It's very crowded. You get a lot of tourists. It's crowded. On a Saturday night, if there's a playoff game on a Saturday night or a Friday night, it's madness because it's going all day. And there's obviously live music in almost every venue, so you hear country singers singing all these songs that they wrote that everyone recognizes from the radio and things like that. So it can be really, really wild, especially if you've got visiting fans in town. I mean, the Blackhawks and Blues fans who come to town are legendary for their arrest for drunkenness. I had a Blues fan kick my car one time as I was leaving. I was driving on Broadway at the end of the game, and they kicked my car. So yeah, it can get pretty crazy for sure. The outside certainly reflects the inside, except somehow, despite all of this, it stays incredibly family friendly, which is weird.
Yeah, for the most part, in San Jose, we kind of stick the same way. And we do have a final question. I hate to ask this.
It better not be a slushy question.
It's a slushy question. Okay. What were because we went through the same thing. Apparently, let me ask Link if this is true first. At one point, did you use Gary Glitter's Rock and Roll Part 2 in some sort of celebratory fashion?
Oh yeah, it was the lead-in to the Tim McGraw song for, I guess, all the way up until last season.
There you go. Okay, so now I guess you're using something called Gold on the Ceiling?
Yeah, Black Keys.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just said, was there here you know, when the Sharks started 91, 92, in case you're not familiar, that's always been Rock and Roll Part 2 was their goal song up until this last season, and there was just an onslaught of negativity everywhere going, no, we need to keep that song. We don't care if it was done by a pedophile or child molester, whatever the guy did. We don't care. We still want the song. So it was just a complete shitstorm here from a very vocal minority. How did it roll? Did the change roll over there? Was it as big? Because it seems like the Tim McGraw song, that's what I relate to the Predators scoring, not Rock and Roll Part 2.
So the biggest impact, because there was, I don't know if it was a vocal minority or what, but it wasn't uncommon to talk to a Predators fan who wanted to get rid of that song, and it's been probably 5 years. People have been asking to get rid of the Rock and Roll Part 2. The great thing is when they switched to Gold in the Ceiling, everyone comes in for I think the preseason games, and everyone's trying to get into the mode of all the songs and cheers and stuff again, and the Predators score a goal, and then Gold in the Ceiling cuts on, and no one knows the timing. So you have fans who have been singing the same song to the same beat for decades, and Rock and Roll Part 2 does not go seamlessly into the Tim McGraw song.
No,
not even a little bit. And so, but we were so used to that awkward timing, and then you have a different song with different timing. It just blew everyone. No one knew what to do. There were I think Section 303 had to kind of get together, be like, okay, we need to let people know the new pacing of the song, because the cheer just wasn't syncing up anymore. And fortunately, Golden Ceiling transitions a bit better into the Tim McGraw song. It's still not great, but that's what's going to happen when you merge when you've got two goal songs.
Right.
But yeah, no, I think everyone was glad to have it gone. I know the Predators are anything that has the word gold in it, they're all about. They're obsessed with it. It's a little bit scary. I have had friends and fellow bloggers and members of the media who have said the word yellow in social media or in an article, and will get angry messages from the Predators saying, it's not yellow, it's gold. It's like, have you seen those helmets? They're yellow. Get over it.
Yeah, you look like minions, for Christ's sakes. Come on.
It's bad. Stop wearing them. Let's move on. Did you know, and I can't help myself, those yellow helmets technically count as third jerseys, according to the NHL bylaws. So the Predators had to wear them the same number of times teams would wear their third jerseys, and it counted as the third jersey. And I have it on good authority that if they wore different socks, those might also count as third jerseys.
Oh, that's spectacular.
Yeah, so there's the little NHL weirdness for you.
And finally, Puck Guy wanting to know what's number 7 in the Raptors for.
I looked in the little box and I saw that. It is... So, as many people know, and as Central Division rivals like to point out, the Predators don't have any banners. So they like to make up their own banners.
We don't know anything about that at all.
We don't even have. You guys have to have at least the division banner or something.
Oh, and you know what? We have no problem. We have some Pacific Division banners. We're very proud of.
There's none.
But we have two. Yeah, well, we didn't have any for like 8 or 9 years. But the biggest problem is that we've got two that say Western Conference and then smaller print regular season champions. Yeah.
No. But the question is the seventh fan or the seventh man banner. It's the Titans have like a 12th man that they do, like a lot of teams do, and the Predators.
The Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, we'll do a 7th man because there's the skaters. So they do the 7th man thing, and then I don't know if they're still up. But they used to have like little cute things for some of the players. So they had like Fishy's Friends for Mike Fisher, and like Patrick's Pals when Hornquist was playing for the Predators. I mean, it was just really kind of lame stuff. But
I wanted to see. I'm very bummed that we didn't get to see like Peter Forsberg's Freaks. Like that would have been cool.
Philip Forsberg fans are a little freaky. It's true.
So we don't want to keep you up too late here. One more question from me at least.
I got one more too, if it's okay.
Okay, so yeah, we'll do 2 more real quick. We don't want to keep you up too late. But as we mentioned, the Predators, you guys have dealt with a lot of playoff disappointment. How have the relations gone between the front office and the fan base? Because I'm sure you know all about our epic collapse 2 years ago. Last season was just a shit show in terms of how they made the moves they made. They got rid of a beloved broadcaster. They raised the price. It's just all the things you don't want to do right after a historical playoff collapse. And it's definitely hurt our attendance this season. If I don't know if you hear about that or not, but after, a good solid decade of just constant sellouts, and we had our first non-sellout in the playoffs just last week. How has that gone between the Predators and their fan base? Have you seen similar dynamic, or how's that gone?
This is one of those really interesting topics. I could probably talk with you guys for an hour about that sort of front office relationship. So there's two big things going on. The fans in Nashville are a really accepting bunch of people. They are very happy for the team to do their thing, and they'll be like, hey, we'll complain, we'll get rowdy, but ultimately they're going to go to games, they're going to watch the games, they're going to buy merchandise. They're going to keep doing that as long as there's some reasonable success in the ice. And that was the Barry Trotz model, is to put a team that was going to at least keep people coming in the door by being competitive enough. That's changed with the difference in coaching and some different kinds of success. And so expectations are being raised, and fans are getting a little bit more vocal as they also you attract new fans with the new style of play. It's more exciting. But the other side is that the Predators organization, they do a lot to control their image. The image is so incredibly important. They just clamp down on anything. I mean, that yellow gold thing, that's a great example, because that is true for pretty much everything. So if you're looking at most of the traditional media within the national market, it's very much a party line thing. And so the vast majority of fans are they're only ever going to hear the party line stuff. They're going to read the newspaper, they're going to listen to 102.5 and hear the party line. So you've got that group, and then you've got kind of a subgroup. You've got the people who follow the blogs and engage with that kind of separate, the hockey Twitter side of things, who are very, very different. They're a little bit more hardcore. They tend to question things a little bit more. But for the vast majority, it's a good night out. They go out, they have fun. It's certainly more successful than the Titans, so their big competition for sports audience is terrible. So they're happy to get behind a winning team, a successful team, an exciting team. So you really don't have those issues. Though there's always the vocal minority.
Interesting,
yeah.
So where do you fall on that media line with SB Nation? Because Fear the Fin around here is known to be a little bit of rabble rousers at times and go against the grain. So where do you guys fall?
I don't want to speak. I'm kind of an oddball. When I started blogging covering the Nashville Predators, I came from a history of being a Flyers fan and being a Philadelphia sports market person. And I looked at the current batch of people blogging and said, this is not good. Like, this is boring.
So you're not originally from Nashville?
No, I've been in Nashville for probably 6 years, but I've been in Tennessee for 15. So, yeah. It was just, so I kind of came in with a bit of a rebel attitude, saying things need to be shaken up. Somebody needs to be more critical, really ask questions. And that got hooked up with the right people. And now, on the Force does try to be, frankly, be critical, because a lot of other groups aren't going to be critical. That's one thing we try to do.
We lost a color man who wouldn't be critical because he wouldn't be critical.
This is true, yes. Yeah, the Sharks aren't nearly as much about the party line as it sounds like you're talking about Nashville is, but they definitely are. Like, Drew Menda, the reason why he's not here is because he was extremely fair, and that's part of the reason why the fans loved him. But let's not go down the bring back Drew road. That is a long road. Let's let Ian ask your question. We'll let you off of here because I know it's getting late out there. My computer runs on Central Time here, so I can see what time it is.
Yeah. My question, I guess, is just obviously you're very familiar with both the Stars and the Blues. So if the Predators made it to round 3, choose your poison.
Oh, come on.
Well, okay, so
look at that $10 million in net that got lit up tonight in Dallas.
All right, I mean, how can you not? Right now, I'd have to pick the Stars. Because watching the Predators and the Blues play for a same game series is going to put me to sleep. I don't care if the start times are actually at 7 o'clock, but there are jokes. I mean, the jokes are that a Tuesday night against Calgary and a Thursday night against the Blues is about as boring as you can get. And so a series against the Blues would just be a pain. And the upside of that though is that I am not remotely superstitious, but I know for a fact the Blues are absolutely cursed. They are not allowed to ever win a Stanley Cup. And so I figure if the Predators do get matched up, they've got a good chance to beat them because destiny is on their side and the Blues must suffer. So I think it's kind of win-win, but in a realistic world, I'd much rather play the Stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement on that. We all picked the Stars to lose this round in our little playoff preview. So before we let you go, mention your podcast, Predcast. We have the link in the description below on theforecheck.com. Anything else you wanted to plug, Link?
No, I think that kind of covers it. I absolutely encourage people to follow On the Forecheck on Twitter at On the Forecheck, just for if not for the series, but they do great coverage, trying to do some cool things with just covering things in Nashville. I'm of course on Twitter at 3D Link. Predcasts come out. They either come out Sunday night or Monday night, depending on when games fall, once a week, and we tend to have a good time. So.
Yep, yeah, I highly recommend it. I listened to it this morning when I was working. These guys, do great work, like you said, on the blog. They're very fair. They give a pretty balanced perspective. Highly recommend it. So, yeah, check out below. Check their work out. Thanks for being on here. We appreciate it because we love having other perspectives. Yeah. It's always fun.
Yeah, no, I was really glad to be here. It's been a lot of fun. I couldn't imagine a better way to spend the approaching the midnight hour. So, thanks so much.
Awesome. Have a good night and good luck at work tomorrow. I know how it is to stay up late in the Central Time Zone.
Hey, we're used to it at this point. It's been a couple weeks already.
Yeah. that Duck series sounds like it was fun for you guys.
Yeah.
That's the one thing the Pacific that we have. So those games still end at a relatively decent hour.
Mm-hmm. Unless you're me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
All right. Thanks a lot.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys.
Take it easy, man.
Thanks.
All right. So going around the NHL.
Can we please talk about Hickey and Drouin?
Okay. Go. Yeah. Go. I'll let you go. You sounds like you're ready to go. So go.
Well, dude, I'm just saying. Tell me you saw that hit. Holy cannoli, dude. One of my favorite tweets was, and Hickey just knocked Drouin back to the AHL. I mean, dude, he got leveled. And I see people batting it back and forth on Twitter, as with any big hit. Did he leave his feet, or was it a clean hit, or was it dirty? From my point of view, because I don't have a dog in this fight, so I really don't care. For the most part, I felt like it was clean. I don't think that Hickey jumped up at him. Was it a high hit? Yeah, it could have been a little lower, but then again, that's like blaming, Marlowe for a head hit on, like Jordan Tutu. It's like, it's not my fault I'm 6'4" and he's 5'10". You know what I mean? So, what am I supposed to do? Like kneel down every time I want to hit somebody because I'm bigger than they are? It doesn't work that way, but. Dude, that was just an epic hit tonight, and I don't know if you guys want to. Ian, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah,
because I got something else I want to say after this.
Yeah, before you jump off of this hit, my favorite Twitter comment of the night was Drouin just went full Lindros. Never go full Lindros. I thought, I'm with you. I thought the hit was fine. I thought that if anything, Drouin had his head down for one. And this is the part of the NHL that really bothers me. I understand you want to get rid of head hits and things, but there has to be a little accountability on the guy getting hit to not put himself in a stupid position. And if you're crossing the blue line with your head down, you're gonna lose your head. It just bothers me.
Yeah.
I'm fine with the hit. I would be shocked if there was a suspension. I think that I think it was clean.
Yeah, I completely agree. And then my only other thing tonight was the fact that, 2 days ago, Lettinen gets pulled for Niemi, and then tonight Niemi gets pulled for Lettinen after Nemo lets in 3 on 12 shots, and it's just like, You know, and that's why I tweeted it out. I'm like, boy, those guys look like $1 million. Oh, I'm sorry. No, they look like $10 million because that's what they're getting paid. I mean,
it's that revolving door in front of the goal in Dallas.
dude, like, Lindy Ruff just has to be like, oh, man.
Are you saying he has it a little tough? I skipped the obvious joke there. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's just like I don't.
You had it rough, is what I was implying.
Yeah, I know, I get that, but it's just like I don't think Lindy is going to be able to like live off the whole no goal excuse this series for any way, shape, or form, man. Because holy crap! But this is something that I've been beating on. I was beating on this drum back in October, September, whatever it was when Ian and I when they had me on teal tinted glasses and I was talking about $10 million in net for 2 pedestrian goalies. Like, really? Oh, well, but wait, Nemo, he has a ring. Remember how important that is.
I just figured like Wonka, like that Wonka meme, just like, oh, 2 goalies in net. How's that work?
Exactly, dude. But oh my god, dude, you could have Lettinen and Nemo playing at the same time, and they would still let in more than probably Jones. I mean, holy hell, that was just awesome. That was fantastic.
Any other? Sorry,
I was just saying, and I'm pretty sure I took Dallas in 5, and I'm feeling pretty comfortable with, St. Louis in 5, and I think I'm feeling pretty comfortable with that pick right now.
Oh, yeah, we should talk about the Sissons thing. I didn't even bring that up while we had Link on. That was scary looking. The Nashville player Sisson who went into the
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Sissons. It looked like, man, that could have taken his kneecap off.
Reminded me like somewhere between Stamkos and Torrey Mitchell, like just in grossness factor.
Yeah,
it was somewhere in there. Like, it was just not pretty to look at.
Absolutely, that was brutal. But
this is making me cringe. Let's not talk too much about this.
Yeah, exactly. Although I think I did see like 1 or 2 people tweet out there like, "Oh God, that looked painful. Why couldn't that have been Shea Weber?" I know, but it's like, everybody wants the other team's best player off the ice. So,
Nick, I apologize. I have my son on my lap, so I'm kind of stuck in an awkward position while he sleeps on my lap.
You can sleep through us yakking on and on and on.
Nick, he'll send you a glamour shot later on Twitter.
I will, I promise.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just go around the horn real quick. Final thoughts on the night, NHL, Sharks, whatever. Ian, let you go first here.
What am I doing?
Final thoughts. I assume you want to get to bed before 2 a.m.
Get full on extemporaneous here.
Look, like I said, I'm not worried. I think that there's a lot of skies falling after this game. And look, it was a bad game, and I'm not going to try and sugarcoat it. This was probably the worst game the Sharks played this postseason.
Let me ask you one.
Not even close. Go ahead.
Let me ask you one question. Did at any point, either of you, at any point of this game, and obviously it would have happened towards the latter part, but was there a point at all, like with say 8 minutes left or whatever, where you said, after like the 3rd goal and you could tell, like, the Sharks just don't have it tonight, did either of you kind of went, this might be a good time to like give Reimer a little bit of an opportunity and maybe give Jones a breather?
No.
No.
Yeah. He Jones wasn't the problem tonight, and
I didn't think so either.
I'm very strongly of the opinion like Jones it's his seat until he has at least 2 consecutive stinkers. Like he needs to have at least 2 stinkers.
Yeah, and this wasn't, and I wouldn't consider this a stinker for Jones. So yeah, I'm sorry, Ian. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I feel like it was a bad game, and it was the worst game they played, but they're still up 2-1. They can beat this team. We've watched them beat this team twice, and they can beat this team in Nashville. So, next game, I hope that they come up with a better game. And if they can improve and get back to the game that they played, game 1 or even game 2, where they still didn't have maybe their best game, but it was still good enough, I think they can win this series. So, let's hold off on the panic button until after game 4.
Yeah,
definitely.
I'm of the Yeah, I'm of the same mind space. Well, I go back to what I said at the beginning of the show, where it's a parallel of LA, the LA series so far. You win the first two by goal. You kind of beat the other team playing your game and kind of beat them at their game a little bit, and you don't take a lot of penalties. And when you have your opportunities on special teams, you take advantage. And tonight, just like in Game 3 versus LA, the Sharks were on the opposite end of it. Usually, you would have seen something like the Sharks would have been 2 for 5 on the power play and killed, and been 4 for 4 on the PK. Tonight, it was flipped. So hopefully, they learn from it, like they did in the LA series, and they take advantage of it. And we see that ridiculous power play that we saw for the first 7 games, where they were like over 30%. Hopefully that comes back and they get their legs under them, get adjusted to the time, and they take that 3-1 back to San Jose hopefully and take it in Game 5.
That's a good point that you bring up too, because it's nothing that really hasn't been mentioned. This is the first time the Sharks have played outside of their time zone in in 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
It's been I think it was mid-March probably. So yeah.
No,
late March. I think.
No. They played in Minnesota April 5th.
Oh,
and they played in Nashville on April 2nd.
Right, but I mean it's May 5th now, so I mean it's been a good stretch of games where they played.
Oh, they haven't been out of their own time zone in a month.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, when you take that into consideration, hopefully they get their legs under them again. I think that's a factor that needs to be taken into consideration. Is the first time in a month they played outside of their time zone, and it's just a weird start time.
Yep, agreed. And I echo both your guys' sentiments. No need to panic yet. The only thing that makes me a little nervous is just knowing Pecorine can go Pecorine on us, and that might be the difference in the series. But I think this will get the Sharks refocused. I mean, after the last time they lost against the Kings, they came out next game like gangbusters. They got it done. Then they closed out the game after that. So no need to panic. I know Twitter is extremely reactionary. That just seems to be the nature of it. It's why I sometimes will stay off during games.
Stop fighting with me on Twitter.
I know, especially one or two particular people.
There are some people that really hate people just trying to keep their perspective balanced. Not going to name names. No one that watches this show that I know of. But we all know those types.
Yeah, there's some people that you just. No matter how much you point out the silver lining, all they see is the cloud. So that's all well and good. The only thing that kind of makes me a little nervous that I want to see changed in the next game, obviously besides special teams, is I believe 3 of the 4 goals that Nashville threw were glove side high, and it seemed like Jones might be a little susceptible in that area. And give it up for Neil, dude. I don't know how that puck went in the net. That was amazing. And
even the leverage goal too.
But I will say that over the course of watching Jones this season, it seems like those kind of highlight goals, if you want to call them that, or the suspect goals that he lets in, they're always on his left side. He seems so strong on his right side. It's his left side that's a little, we've seen 2 goals this season that came in from behind the goal line, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, so I think even then, most of the best goalies, even then, I think if you look at the Heat charts, most of them, that is the most vulnerable spot, even on the best of the best.
Yeah, you buzz it by your glove side.
Yeah, so I mean, good for that's kudos to Nashville for recognizing that and trying to take advantage and exploit that. So hopefully the Sharks will sew that up for the next game and God damn it, special teams, man.
Yep. Yeah.
You guys change the lines at all?
No.
What?
I'd say go roll with what you got because it's been working so far. Like I said, this is their first road loss. This is only their second loss of the playoffs.
But interesting, though, that DeBoer did switch up the lines going into the third, where you saw, what was it, Marlowe got bumped up and who I think it was Donskoy got bumped down.
Donskoy went down, Marlowe went up.
I think it was partially because Donskoy's having a rough game, but I mean, I think he was also trying to get a spark because you know how sometimes it goes late in games. If things aren't clicking, try to do anything to get a spark. But with that, I think we're about done here. It's getting late.
Yeah, sorry.
So let's we'll wrap up here. So a few things. We already mentioned it several times, but follow 3D Link, follow on the forecheck on Twitter. Great Predators blog, very good perspectives. Their podcast, the Predcast. Thanks a lot to him for being on here. Provided some
Absolutely.
very, very great insight and some, just fun time to talk to. Check out pucknology.net. Got all your coverage, Sharks, prospects, Barracuda, and the occasional funny post from AJ. And so subscribe below. You can follow us on Twitter. You can find me at ChrisJWS. You can follow him at AJ_strong, and then Ian at I Read Pucknology. Sharks lose tonight. First game of this, third game of the series, 4-1. Hopefully we'll do better on Thursday. We'll see you then. Thanks and good night.
And wait though.
Go ahead.
Remember, Game 4, we just might see Slappy.
Oh, it's true. Yeah, it's a little teaser there. We'll see. Might happen. And yeah, have a good night, everyone.